welcome to the month of August and another exciting week on Your View. I am Jumoke Alaode James, and as always, I have my lovely co-host here with me. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How are you today? Okay, let me start with Oga Cereal. How are you today?
I kept quiet because I wanted to make my own very special.
Oh, yeah, no.
You don't know? It's the first day of August, the month of my birth.
Oh!
What day is your birthday?
On the 23rd.
So how are we celebrating?
Well, as the day draws closer, I will make one.
This is a don't expect anything from me.
So that I be.
How was your weekend? What did you do this weekend?
It was fine. I was in the office yesterday till about 10 p.m.
Really? Now, it is well with you.
Amen.
Tokwe, how are you today?
I'm good.
Purple and yellow. You're mixing colors like I do.
I'm getting inspired, you know. I think that it's just that I tend to just feel like I can't be bothered about these things. I have so many things I'm doing, I just can't be bothered. But this time I actually want to, I tried to make a little effort from the house. This weekend was good. I had a very, very restful weekend. Saturday was busy, but Sunday compensated for it, you know. So I think that I need to create a balance of proper rest, especially during the day, because baby sleeps a little during the day, and that might help out. I'm happy this morning. I'm in a good place.
My friend Samuel.
Yes, your friend Samuel.
Well, how are you? How was your weekend?
I had an amazing weekend. We rounded up our what's it called, presentation and platform skills final level of our NLP training. It was amazing. And sometimes it's good to be in that learning environment, you know, because you just realize how important it is for you to choose your words correctly, for you to do things correctly and all that. So for me, and so I didn't have time to make my hair, so I hope the hair is looking good.
It looks actually.
I didn't have time to make my hair. I didn't have time to make my nails. I didn't have time to do anything this weekend. I'm telling you.
Well, you're looking very quiet and sober this morning.
Yeah, because I'm just tired. Actually, I need to rest. You know, sometimes you walk yourself up.
So are you going back home after the show?
I can't. I can't afford to, because the whole of last week I was not at my store, so I need to go and see what's happening. So it's not easy.
Only the living spend money. Okay. All right, we have a fantastic show coming up this morning. We're going to take a short break right now.
You didn't tell us how.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
My weekend was quite quiet, so there was really nothing to say.
I saw you on bicycle. Every time I see you, I'm beefing you. Just know, because you always feel like I'm not working out somebody. I am beefing you. Continue.
I have to wake up very early Monday through Friday. So Saturday and Sunday, I take out time to exercise. You lose 650 calories per hour by riding bicycles.
Actually, I don't know how to even ride.
It's a beautiful way of exercising. Okay, so we're going to come back right after this short break to take the front pages of the newspapers. Please stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for joining us. Okay, we start the front page with the Punch this morning. Major headline: 19 militants held as Nigerian Air Force jets destroy 4 camps in Southwest. Army, Navy, Police, Civil Defense continue ground operations. Budget padding, step down, Serap, SANS tell Dugara others. Mergers, acquisitions likely in banking sector. Rewani, Utomi, others. EFCC raids Narco Lagos office, summons officers. Cultists kill 4. Shoot 2-year-old in Lagos community. In other headlines, there's corruption in House of Reps, says Jibrin. Local debt servicing gobs 1 trillion naira in 1 year. JAMB withdraws candidates lists sent to varsities, and there's a picture. Some members of the Association of Uje Ultra Modern Market allottees protesting against their ejection and closure of their shops in Abuja on Sunday. Human angle, did anyone with the cultists?
It happened in Ikorodu.
Okay.
It was 24 road. They call the road 24 road in Igbogo.
Okay.
And 6 cultists came on 2 motorcycles, and they started shooting sporadically. They ended up killing 4 men, shot at a a woman, one of the wife, they shot a man and they shot his wife. The man died. His name is Rashid. His wife, Falilat or something, is still in critical condition. They also shot a little girl called Kehinde, also in critical condition. They shot a man. One of the men that was killed is unidentified right now. Police stepped in, but the men were not caught. And this is not the first time something like this is happening
in Lagos.
But what I wanted to point out from the story is that you have 6 men arrive on 2 bikes. That means probably 3 people were on 1 bike. The kind of ammunition couldn't have been that hidden that they would drive and not be seen
by policemen.
That area is, we have specific areas that we know are hot birds, and we need to focus on such areas in securing the our community. It's happening too frequent in Lagos.
Yeah, just last week, the Navy was saying that they had secured the waterways in Ikorodu. So maybe we just need more policemen on ground in those communities, you know.
And then I think they should empower the people, because sometimes, you know, when you're, like what you said, is very conspicuous for you to be on a bike with those kind of ammunitions. So empowering the people to detect things like that, you know. Information. So I mean,
and then what will they do?
No.
When they are empowered to detect funny movements and all that, because you see, like for instance in Kaduna, when all the Boko Haram things started and all that, people started becoming detectives. Like you are like a CIA. No, it's true. So you can detect when somebody's moving or something is happening. The way this person is going, something is, so you can now call the appropriate authorities, you know, to check the situation.
Moving on to our next paper quickly. The Nation. Major headline: National Assembly stinks, says ex-panel chair Jibrin. There is institutional corruption. We want to force reform, says lawmaker. Buhari, Aregbesola, Ambode, others hail the Nation at 10. There's an interesting picture. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode with Group Managing Director Access Bank being shown the architectural design of the Ecopel Towers by the Ecopel chairman, Mr. Elias Said, at the Eco Atlantic City VI yesterday. Mom, child, boy, 6 others die in Lagos Ibadan road crashes. Court didn't stop convention, says McAfee's lawyer. Our plan for Oyo's 105,000 workers by Ajimobi. And there is the Kano State government results for Mijibi by election. APC 21,970 and PDP 1,238. Cyril, you were going to take the human angle story in The Nation. Did you read it?
Yeah, the woman who lost her children, you know, I think they were in a keke napep.
Okay.
And then the rider, the driver, overtook a car and had a head-on collision with an SUV. So they died. And, you know, she was on her way to joining her husband and the other children for the end of year party, for the end of school, I think school time party. It was such a sudden way to
die.
Yeah, to meet one's end. And then again, there are certain details that we don't really pay attention to. Okay. You know, I mean, in a place, in an enclosed place, somebody's attempting to overtake. The Marwa, you know, was going to overtake a car, and then there was an SUV coming. I think we need to pay attention to some very basic things. It happens, you know, on the streets, on the road, the way we drive. There's need for people to understand. Maybe if you're the one who has boarded the car, you need to be talking to the driver, because I mean, at the time that you're not driving, everybody has to pay attention to what's going on and ensure that these people.
You see, I see keke marwa, keke napep, tricycle, depending on what you call it, drive recklessly a lot.
Thank you. And you see,
so there's a 2-lane road. And they will drive in between.
They'll either drive by the gutters, or they'll drive in the middle of the road, or you know, I mean, it's crazy.
I'm always scared when I see them.
If you check my car, there's a scratch on it, and because there's a road I normally go through, beside that road there's a massive. The gutter is not the normal size; it's really, really wide. And I see people in that keke marwa not cautioning them. So deliberately, I move my car towards that they are not able to park, because if there's any slight tilt or whatever, you are all inside that gutter.
I want to just add something, because one of the things that my husband mentioned is that most keke marwa or tricycle riders are graduates of Okada riders. So the mentality of you are driving a slim vehicle that you can maneuver through anything is still in their head. We need to start regulating. We need to start regulating tricycles, because we've now made them official means of carrying people. Then they should be as regulated as the yellow buses.
I agree. Moving on to our next paper quickly. Vanguard. Major headline: why ex-governors must face corruption charges. Federal government moves to remove Odili's perpetual injunction. Budget padding. Jibrin drags Dogara, others to court. Why APC governors won't interfere. Excess interest charge. CPC others FCMB to refund 1.5 billion naira to Bauchi government. Buhari's government got 2.2 trillion naira from federation accounts in 1 year. There's a picture. Send off. Chairman UBA, Mr. Tony Elumelu, Emir of Kano, Salisu Lamido II, former GMD CEO UBA, Mr. Phillips, his wife, Jumai, and the new GMD CEO of UBA during the send-off ceremony in honor of Oduoza, held in Lagos on Saturday. Why governors are unable to pay salaries, says Amosu.
I wish I read that story.
Governor Amosu.
Governor Amosu. Why? I want to know why, as if we do not know why.
No, he has been saying since. I think that I'm not sure if he's the chairman of the Governors Forum, but he's been talking on their behalf a lot, how the federation, the allocations to the states are reduced because the federal government.
The point I'm trying, you just helped me to say my point. It's the same story we've been hearing. Allocations have dropped. I think for me, I mean, it is necessary that everybody wake up to the reality. It's high time that let us start generating income internally per state. I mean, you're saying the same thing. I don't know why it's making news, because we've known it since.
The argument or debate about generating income internally is welcome, but you must know that if you want, you will have to invest to generate. It's a long-term process. Money. Lagos didn't get to where she is today overnight. True. Now, what we are going to do is this. For me, since the primary argument is about paying salaries, the federal government should not give money to governors to pay anymore.
Yes.
Pay salaries directly.
Directly.
Yes.
Because governors don't give account of
how they spend their money.
Of what they earn and what they spend. How can you begin money and then after they receive the bailout, that's when they now tell you that even this bailout will not do anything.
You see, this topic
is an affront.
We should deal with
it.
It's an affront on workers. Look at what Governor Okorocha Afimo said. Is now saying that
he made deadlines.
He will slash salaries and make workers to work for 3 days. In this time when we're in a depression, you want to reduce workers' man hours. I think the workers have told him that you don't have the right to slash even salaries. How much more to talk about reducing the work days? I mean,
so they shouldn't come to the office.
Whether you like it or not,
we're not in a theater, for goodness sake.
Whether you like it or not, we work and you will pay us.
Moving on to our next paper, Daily Sun. Budget padding scandal. We are corrupt. Jibrin makes more damning revelations. Speaker Dogara under pressure to resign.
There is nothing damning there.
Militants bow to superior military firepower. We will surrender. 6 die, 21 injured in Lagos-Ibadan road crash. We discussed that already. JAMB withdraws 2016 admission list sent to varsities, others. FCMB manager kills self over 350 million naira debts. Federal government, Delta and loggerheads over Benin, Asaba, Onitsha Road. And there's a picture of the send-off of the former MD of UBA again. This FCMB manager, it was in the news yesterday, he actually killed himself in front of his pastor. He shot himself. Now, you know how lots of banks are in trouble. He has many loans that they had given out, and people weren't servicing those loans. They weren't paying back, and just out of depression, not knowing what to do.
It wasn't that he was the one personally owing those money.
No. He's the branch manager of one of the branches of FCMB.
There's more to that story. I'm sure there's psychological.
No, it's not even psychological talk. But let me tell you something. The kind of targets they give bankers are ridiculous. And let me tell you something. It's just very few people that collect loans from banks that actually pay.
Look at the other day, they were talking about members of the National Assembly that were owing money.
Yeah.
And the sad part is that because they do banking in a very funny way, you will not empower small. It is those small businesses that would actually pay those loans. If you carry 1 billion naira and go and give to somebody, there's every likelihood that that man will tell you that, Oga, I cannot pay you. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Loan.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They should change the way banking is being done. Empower
Now
people.
they are saying they'll be merging banks and acquisitions will take place.
Wait. You know, like I said yesterday, I read a very incisive report on the Nigerian banking sector.
Yeah.
The CBN governor, I think last week, used the P word. Normally, they will never use it. They just tell you that everything is okay. But he said, don't panic.
Yes.
That means we should start panicking.
No, you see again, I'm being careful.
Oh, you know that the
because
CBN is also bailing out Skybank with 100 billion naira.
What I'm
They
going to tell you is
didn't
that
just bail out Skybank. They sacked the boss, the heads there, and
Yeah, so they're
put
taking
people
over
there.
the
They
bank.
allowed
And they are
them to
saying
resign.
mergers will take place. Bank.
They allow them to resign because their capitalization, their
Yeah, they have money.
No. What
With the
that is
CBN.
the
Capitalization.
their capital base.
Yes.
They have gone less than where they should have been.
25 billion.
Now you see, and this is not just about Sky. You've seen it happen in FCMB. The fear is that in the days to come, I just hope that we don't get mass of these things happening over and over.
Okay, Cyril, thank you so very much. We're unable to
I
take
took
our
your time,
last
Abby.
paper.
Thanks to you.
This day. Let me just quickly read through the front pages. The front page. PDP considers Jimmy Agbaje as compromised national chairman. Marketers accused of raking in profits selling aviation fuel as kerosene. That was an interesting story.
Really?
Concerns mount over $1.3 billion power sector loans. Finally, federal government steps up food shelter supplies to IDPs in Northeast. That's also an interesting story. I think we should all read the papers to get those stories. They will be there tomorrow for us to discuss. That's the much we can take on front page review this morning. When we return, we discuss the budget padding scandal. That's why we haven't discussed it in the newspapers on Hot Topics. And later on Let's Talk, we discuss the implications of the PDP crisis in the light of the forthcoming elections in Edo and Ondo states. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The budget padding scandal between the former chairman of House Committee on Appropriation, Abdulmumin Jibrin, and other lawmakers has become more heated as more revelations are revealed. According to reports, President Buhari recently has approved a full investigation to be carried out into the alleged 480 billion naira budget padding. And all the suspected participants in this saga are expected to be questioned soon by the DSS. What are your thoughts on this? It's your view. Please let it count by joining the conversation by calling 07080668014 and tweeting to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. Now, when we're thinking, what's the hottest thing? This issue was the hottest thing this weekend. The federal government saying, you know what, this budget padding has gone on, the discussion has gone on for too long. The Speaker of the House of Reps, Dugara, saying that he's going to allow the House to deal with Jibrin. Jibrin saying that, you know what, I have more allegations, in fact. Yes, over the weekend, he exposed some properties that he said Dugara
just
acquired, you know, from our monies. And then another member of the House of Reps, I saw this on TV, went on a TV station and was saying, yes, Jibrin is right. He has been in the House since 2011, and every year there has always been budget padding, and that they should not set up a committee in the Senate or the House of Representatives to investigate this. It should be either the EFCC or the ICPC, the police, that there should be an independent investigation into this.
Let me jump in.
Jump in, Tope.
Beauty of when this kind of political class fights happen makes me happy because they will throw up the true scenario of what is going on internally. The reason that we're hearing about this is because somebody is disgruntled against what the other person did. It's nothing new. However, I look at the situation and it worries me that we have to wait until Serap Sands are saying that Dogara should step down. You cannot be the You cannot be
You're
judge in your own case.
I agree.
You cannot set up the committee that would investigate your own charges. It just does not smell right. So somebody should take the high road and decide to honor his own name. One. Number two, the cases of budget pardon isn't new. But this that came up is under this new administration that has promised us that such would not happen. So I am happy that the president is giving a lot of agreement that they should actually investigate it. I actually did not think the president should actually give a nod. The point is an allegation has been made. It should be thoroughly investigated.
Should take it up.
Take it up and let us find out what actually happened.
Okay, Serap, you mentioned Serap there, the social economic rights and accountability projects. And then SANS, the senior advocates of Nigeria, are the ones asking, you know,
That it should step
they should
down.
step
Some
aside.
SANS,
You want to jump in here, Mr.
Cyril?
Yes, but my opinions will differ a little bit.
Go ahead.
It is good that the matter has come to light, like you said. It's a class fight, and you know, we're going to be getting some facts which are not necessarily secret to some people anyway. But now they are coming to light. But my own worry is that if the House of Reps, if Speaker Dogara has lacked locus to stand in
judgment of his own case,
of
allegations
of his own
against
case,
him,
who has the moral right to oversee the case? Is it the presidency? Hold on, please.
Attorney
The
General.
budget pardon crisis didn't begin from the Senate or from the House of Reps. It began
from the executive,
from the presidency itself, when they said he was going to pay rent. They were going to spend some millions of
pay
naira
rent for Aso Rock.
and all those frivolous things that we are saying, that some ministers even went to the Senate when they saw what was in their budget, they ran away.
No.
So, hold
It's
on,
true.
please.
I
Some
agree.
universities said they wanted to build bridges. We saw all these things in the country. They fired the head of the Buhari fired the head of the budget office.
Yes.
Because of the crass incompetence that we saw.
Yeah.
The minister for budget was left standing there. So I'm wondering, we didn't have a sweeping search. We didn't investigate. We didn't do anything. They said that he that goes to equity must go with clean hands.
True.
But this
My
is
worry in
different.
this nation has been that the source of equity is always contaminated. That is why people will fight and do everything they
This
can
is
Can I
different.
explain
to
something
scuttle
to
the
you,
process.
Cyril?
Jibrin, when I was small as a boy, if somebody did something wrong, you didn't say. Maybe when you now do something wrong, you now go and report to my mom. She will kill you thoroughly.
Yes.
What they're doing today, the Jibrin guy himself.
Yes.
be
Why didn't he speak up since that time?
Yes.
We
They are
understand.
saying Honorable Lawal from the House of Reps was saying that Jibrin is part of them. The reason he's speaking out now and he's giving us all these facts is because they have now fought amongst themselves.
Now-
And he described what pardon is exactly. That each representative in their constituents have projects that they're supposed to supervise. Now, you will put your own constituent projects into the National Assembly budget. They will read it on the floor of House. They will pass it before passing it to the presidency. Now, by the time they're now passing to the presidency is when they will now put in different projects. For instance, he mentioned the Kano Wood, that it was not in the budget that they passed
They
in
read
the House.
on
By
the
the
floor
time
of
the
the
president
House.
was signing it, it
was
was
there.
now
Then.
in the budget. The president will not know
What
what
was
projects
approved.
were approved on the floor of the House when he's signing in. It's when the budget has been signed into law and he now comes back, you now realize, Honorable Tope, you did not have 40 billion approved
for
to
your
you
own
before. How
constituency
come?
project.
Over
Who
to
are-
you,
let us
madam.
hear your own.
I was trying to correct something when Cyril was talking about presidency and house maintenance and all that. You see,
Yes.
that is where the National Assembly,
We're supposed to
they're
check.
supposed to stand their authority and be a check
Yes.
for the presidency.
They didn't do that.
Listen, the
We're not
reason,
clean.
yes, the reason that nobody is checking is because
They are all
it is
guilty.
presumed that when it is my own turn, you say
will not
close
say
your eye.
anything.
No.
And no, hold on, let
Hold
me
on,
finish.
let her finish, please.
Because you see, there should be standards and procedures to writing a budget. For goodness sake, Cyril, if I write a budget to you that this suit costs 10 billion naira, do you understand? In the past, it would just be overlooked. Okay,
True.
it costs 10 billion and they give it to you.
True.
That is where we should be fighting for.
Okay,
But we
fine.
have due
Rather,
process
let us
now.
go
Rather
first
us
one.
we
by
fight.
the principle of checks and balances.
Let's take our first phone call.
If the Senate was not up to its responsibility, Nigerians won't even have
We've
known.
lost
In the
the
past, we
phone
didn't used to hear.
True.
It was
Okay.
taken back to the presidency.
Yes.
They said the president has gone missing. Somehow they said the advisor to the president on Senate issues was
Yes.
the one responsible
Yes.
for the problem in the budget. Nothing happened to him.
Hold on.
Oh, Jumoke.
Hold on, Tokwe, I'm coming to you. Now, he has raised genuine points. that the first we heard of padding was from the executive itself. He embarrassed the
That
presidency.
wasn't padding.
Yes,
It
it
just
was.
over,
What was it?
overinflated budget.
What is the
What
Padding
is padding?
What's the difference?
Agent said they wanted 130 million naira for wildlife conservation. To do what?
Please, Jumoke,
Aviation
you
agency
see that this,
for wildlife
we can't
conservation.
start fighting the person that is the whistleblower. The whistleblower will face his own
Talk
own
about-
issues.
let us take this phone call. I don't want to lose it. Abdul Latif has called in from Katsina. Good morning. Thank you for joining the conversation.
It's happening in this nation.
How are you today, sir?
Hello?
We can hear.
I will call you back. Let me put another one to call you back.
Okay, he says he will call
Can I
back.
say
Please,
something?
no, I
hold
was
on,
saying
let Tope
something.
go.
That when you have crises like this that has come up, we will still deal with the person that blew the whistle. That you should have said it when it was happening.
Okay.
But the point is, he has brought proof
Yes.
that something was passed on the floor was
Yes.
different from what was approved by the president.
Yes.
That is a criminal act that
And
we've
that is
seen,
what we
and
call-
that should be
Hold on,
prosecuted
hold
without
on.
anybody saying that the person that said it is wrong. He has proof. Deal with it.
Okay.
The corruption in the assembly should be dealt with holistically.
Hold on. Let's Uwa
That
go.
is what I call padding. That I bring something to you, and before you know anything, you go and add on,
That
and you
one
take
is
it.
corruption.
The other one I'm talking about, which is the crux of the issue. How can I put a cost to something, and you, as a National Assembly, you are not even trying to make sure that this cost is
Investigate.
It's investigated.
Okay,
They
why-
are not doing anything.
They call the minister.
That is why those
We
budgets
have a
will
phone
go
call.
through.
We have a phone call. Wale has called in from Ikeja. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, beautiful lady. Yeah.
That's the young
Seriously,
Mr. Wale.
Don't change the topic. Don't change the topic. The topic is National Assembly padding the budget. Please don't change it.
Abio.
There was no minister when Buhari was preparing for the budget. No
you.
minister. So that is the reason why the budget minister is still on. You know, and Buhari took action. He's fired. He sacked all the people involved during that period. Please, why are you misconstrued information? Please let us be prepared. Let the people involved in this padding they should face the consequences. Both the whistleblower and the Dogara. They should please face the consequences. That's just what Nigeria needs.
Okay. Thank you very much, Wale.
The
Go
Minister of
ahead, Cyril.
Finance, the finance minister told us categorically that they were changing the paradigm for budget preparation from whatever they were calling before to zero budgeting. What it means is this:
You start from zero.
In the previous regime,
Yes.
they say health spent 10 billion last year.
Let's
By
just add more to
inflation
it.
and GDP, we can say, okay, this year they should use 12. You give them.
Yes.
But that zero budgeting means that you bring everything that you want to do and account for it. You say, we want to buy new this. But you know that before the budget went to the National Assembly, they had already changed from zero budgeting
Yes.
back. That was not investigated. Not was done about it.
You're taking us out of budget padding.
Hold on. From the time you become minister, you take ownership of the document.
Okay.
So the person went to the floor of the Senate to go and defend the budget. Was the minister? Was not public?
Okay. We
was
have a
not
call
civil
from
servant.
Delta State. Good morning,
we can't change
Elder.
it.
Thank you for joining the conversation, sir. Hello?
Oh.
Hello?
I think
Are you
he's
there,
there,
Elder
but-
Vincent? We can't hear.
Please,
So those
the
that work in
House of
executive arm of
Assemblies, please. You see, when we go back to the foundation, what are they meant to do?
Thank you.
When they are there, you have a job to do. Your states cannot afford to pay salaries of your own constituent people. You are not there to say that let's push a bill that would ensure that my state governor is more empowered to make more money for the states. All that we're focused on is these criminal activities that are taking place, this corruption. So we need to deal with it. As much as we have other things going on in the country, let's trash this one that we have case. The case is easy to prove.
I agree with everyone on the table. Let's take to it. But what I've picked out of the conversation is that when the people who are supposed to have the oversight function,
Thank you.
they are padding their own budgets. How will they then do their oversight function of
They
going
can't.
through the national budget if it is padded, if it is
And they will not
inflated,
even screen it. Thank you. If it is inflated.
whatever went wrong with the national budget, they didn't do anything with that because they too had their own plans of padding their own.
Thank you.
see.
America says, the disheartening thing is that after all the noise and accusation, none of those involved will get punished. Gabriel Abdulimin says, if padding was done by another person, does that justify doing the same thing by all others? Michael says, the reason why we have such issues is because we give the right jobs to the wrong people.
Okay. So this conversation is going to continue because we're going to be watching as the investigations go on. After this short break, we're going to discuss on Let's Talk the implications of the PDP crisis in the light of the forthcoming elections in Edo and Ondo State. Please don't go away. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. It's a very hot studio this morning. After so much controversy trailing the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, the effects is likely to have on the forthcoming elections in Ondo and Edo cannot be overemphasized. The party, who ruled Nigeria at the central level from 1999 to 2015, has been plagued with crisis since their defeat in last year's presidential elections. Since the sack of the chairman, Ali Modu Sheriff, to his reinstatement and factionalization within the party, what will be the implications in the forthcoming elections in Edo and Ondo states? Joining us on the show is a lecturer, Department of Philosophy, UNILAG, and a public affairs analyst, Dr. Dan Ikere. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
It's very great to have you once again.
I have one question.
We have,
Objection.
wait.
Is it are you PDP?
Dr. Dan, you were in on our discussion and we still haven't agreed. We'd like your opinion on our hot topic. The argument is padding is not corruption.
No.
Padding is not inflation.
You should have sworn first to say
to say the truth and only the truth. Please, let's have your opinion on the issue.
Yeah, I think generally, like I've always said, Nigeria politics, there's no way you discuss it without going emotional. There's no way you discuss it without quarreling with whoever you are discussing it with, for as long as you have opposing views. Now, we do know what the responsibility of the National Assembly is. But somehow they have created another for themselves, leaving the main one they were constitutionally empowered to do. I don't see anything wrong with, constituency projects.
Okay.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
Okay.
What is, however, wrong is for a member of the National Assembly to be involved in the execution of such projects.
Okay.
They are the only people of the truth who can, speak the voices
Of the people.
or speak for the people.
Okay.
The president cannot. The president is just one person who is supposed to take care of all their views.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they are not representing the people. Otherwise, even these projects we talked about, you call constituency, they've been on since 1999. Where are they?
They don't do anything.
You see, so
They do
I think that's
something.
where the problem really is. So it's not a question of whether there should be constituency project, but the issue of padding is a criminal offense.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do not see any justification. Because if you have any issue at all, any project, at least the federal government, then the executive prepares a budget that covers the executive, the legislature. So everything they have should be prepared and presented before the executive to be included in that budget, not after a budget is submitted to them.
So
they start,
in certain things.
Yeah, I think that is
one of
fraudulent.
the arguments of that, well, if the presidency also came with an inflated, not padded budget,
Thank you.
In Noah's words,
in Uwa's
Inflated.
but
words,
not in mine. It was padded.
that does that then encourage the National Assembly members to then do their own padding?
That is the more reason why we have them there. If the executive has come with an inflated budget, it is your duty to cut it to size.
Thank you.
Not to increase it.
That what you have brought is supposed to be 5 naira, you brought it
15 naira.
15 naira or 10. No, we do know that in the market this thing is 5 naira. You reduce it to that level.
Thank you. That is their job.
You
all
just
you
said
need
that
to
it's
do.
reviewed. It could be upward or downward. But
Yeah.
usually, their review is usually upward. To the topic.
you need to really vet
Okay.
what they have presented to you, whether it is representative of
you.
the market forces.
Thank
So
you.
once that is done, you pass the budget, not you presenting your own budget,
Padded and inflated.
surreptitiously. You are simply doing something.
I want to jump in with this topic because at first, Jumoke felt that it wasn't necessary to talk about it. I feel it is very necessary that we need to discuss what the impact of PDP's crisis on our democracy.
Yeah.
Do you think that PDP's crisis would directly affect our democracy, or that we are okay, we should ignore what is going on in PDP?
And especially in regards to the
two elections
in
Yes.
Edo State.
Yeah, let's look at PDP generally. You cannot discuss Nigeria crisis today without talking about the PDP.
Thank you.
So it's already something that is affecting everything, because today, like what you see, the president attacking, members of the PDP, and everybody complaining. Obviously, it's the PDP that should be attacked at this moment, because they were the ones in power. You do not expect that the government will be giving money to opposition to spend. So that is expected. Yeah. Now, if you are talking about how their crisis will affect the election in Edo State and Ondo State that will soon be, will soon come to pass, I think that one thing we need to understand is that over the years, PDP has not truly been too involved in, what you can call winning elections. What they do really is declaring results most times. So they get so challenged this time around with what is going on, because now the instrument or the mechanism they were making use of, declaring results, has been kind of, shared between the APC and the PDP.
Okay.
At least we heard it the other time when Amechi left office as governor, and he was saying that we know how we've been doing it. All right? Now, yes, and he moved that act to the APC. What they were doing now, he now decided to do it for APC. But those he was doing it with in PDP are still on ground.
They didn't allow that to happen.
They did it more than he understood. So, and that is how they were able to sweep
no
it
result sheets.
Now, interestingly, Jumoke, you need to understand that Amechi said it. It's not a question of quoting me. And to make it more practical to you, I have contested election as well. Throughout the period where the ballot boxes, my papers, everything were in the police station.
Wow.
Yes, we were waiting for the day of the election. Normally, they will bring those sensitive materials before the day.
Yes.
I'm from Isoko South. All right. In 2003, there was no local government election when Ibori was governor. Now, within PDP, the crisis was even we then had PDP, Asaba PDP and Abuja PDP. Yeah, I don't want to mention the strongholds, the principalities that were involved. Yes. Now, they all mounted vigil at the police station. They were running shifts. I'm telling you, and they were well armed. So, the day for election, there was serious threat to peace. Eventually, the materials could not be brought out. Election could not take place. They rescheduled the election. The same situation ensued. Wow. And at the end of the day, Ibori declared results. And somebody was saying, you go to court. I said, to do what now?
There was no election.
But to do what? To go to court and tell Ibori that, you did not follow the law.
Procedure.
I want to a man who they read 170-something count charges, and he was able to.
He was discharged and acquitted of all of them.
Discharged. The man, he kind of he finished with the judiciary on that issue. Is that the one that the little I'm struggling to look for to eat? Okay, to go and battle with a man who is using state resources in that. So the impact of the crisis on election cannot be, it's not something.
I don't know how well
now.
you are following the Edo State elections, because yes, we have APC at the helms of affair, and for the candidates, especially for APC and PDP in particular, Ize Iyamu seems to be a very, very strong, opposition for the APC.
Yeah.
So, do you think this crisis would affect, how the results will span in Edo State?
Now, bringing it to these two states, you take it on their own merit.
Yes.
Edo different, Ondo different. Now, for Edo State, it is difficult to say that this one is winning until the election comes. However, in terms of the candidates that are presented, there seem to be, because don't forget that within APC, there was a serious crisis of how the candidate emerged.
Yes.
And that crisis, we listened to this Obaseki, what's the name now? The one who is into a movie.
Don
Pedro. I watched him on television where he was, telling the whole world, and he made it so emphatic that, quote me, that the way the APC handled that election, Oshomole made it in such a way that the candidate that emerged have to emerge. And this accusation is not limited to Obaseki alone. Virtually all the other contestants, they made the same, complaint. And you could see it even from the body language of Oshomole. So that could have effect on the election.
So do you think people will sway vote? Because there's a new party, the YDP party, and I hear they have crazy ideas on youth development and all that. So do you think that kind of crisis, so let us pick somebody that, would that be strong enough to sway votes towards a totally, completely neutral party, you know?
Like what
well, it is difficult to say now, but however, if we have to, recall the, the election of Agbala Jobi and Otedola of some years in Lagos, there was nothing close to, Otedola smelling anything like the government house. In fact, the man within him knew that he was just there just to show himself that he contested the election. But somehow, there's a way destiny works. That somehow, there was Femi Agbala Jobi and there was Sarumi. The two were involved in a very deep, disagreement. And the thing rocked the party to the point that Lagosians looked at the whole scenario and said, well, let these two people go and die wherever they want to die. Let's keep Lagos going. And they gave the vote to Otedola. However, the man had no councillor. He had no member of the state assembly. He was just there for those years enjoying his life.
I want to go back to the case of...
the situation in Edo State, nobody can tell. However, if we look at this scenario, the way it is playing out, I think I'm seeing PDP gaining ground.
I doubt that.
I am seeing PDP gaining ground.
Okay, Tokwe.
But I've told you earlier that you can only tell after the result.
You can actually predict.
Okay, so we have the Sheriff faction
and the
McAfee faction. And the Sheriff faction getting injunctions from the High Court in Abuja, and the McAfee section getting injunctions from Port Harcourt. What is the place of the judiciary system in this crisis of inter-party wars?
Well, I think that the law is clear on the place of the judiciary. It will remain the body, that will adjudicate on issues. Yeah, but we have always known, look at Abia governorship.
Ikpeazu is still there.
Ikpeazu had a ruling from a court. Oga got a ruling from a court, all within the country. All right, so
and
it has been they are the same, coordinated jurisdiction. They have the same capacity, and they are making judgment on the same issue.
Opposing judgments.
And the judgments are opposite.
Okay.
Now, this has been the character of the judiciary with respect to elections.
Sir, may I interrupt
But I think that there are so many other, I think the problem really is that you find some judges who do not really want to be, kind of removed from the process.
I have to interrupt you, sir, to take a break. So I will let you continue this conversation when we come back. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We have Abdul Karim on the phone. Good morning. Thank you for joining us, sir.
You are talking over issue of PDP in Nigeria. Look very funny to me. I'm a member of PDP. I don't think we have learned from our mistakes. I don't think. And it's the first time being a opposition party within the 16 years. But what I observe over what is happening, the real those that bring Ali Mahdi Sharif to restructure the PDP, they are the ones that are destroying PDP now. Because Ali Mahdi Sharif didn't say that, I want this position, come and hold it to us and restructure the party. Now turn a different issue. But what I want to say over issue of PDP today in Nigeria is like maybe 2019 they are not ready to enter election. That's what I see. Because this fight is the beginning. We don't know the end of the fight. Sure. We have saw it here in Adamawa State. We have finished election of chairmen. PDP lost woefully because of self-interest mind that some other group have more than 16 years. Because they are not working for PDP. They are working for the individual and they are in the group that they have. Because the more you invest more, the more you take large. That's what destroys PDP. So for me, let them sit down and think twice. If not, we are the member of PDP. We will still remain in PDP and work against them. That's what I see. Because they are destroying our image. What we have, the 2003, 2007, we are not seeing it now.
Thank you very much, Abdul Karim. We're still discussing the aftermath of the PDP crisis on elections foregoing. And my reason for saying that, why do we have to focus on what is happening within the political party is, I think that it's time, Nigeria is ripe for us to start to have individuals, people of integrity and purpose who have visions that we can start to donate 1 naira, 10 naira and say, I support Dr. Dan Ekere. He's of the individual party. He's not aligned to APC or PDP or whatever godfathers, and I know that he's going to take us where we're heading to.
Are we ready for that?
Are we ready?
But of course,
hold on.
It's not part of our constitution. I don't think they've provided for independent
The last
candidature.
dispensation mentioned that, yes.
Even in the last conference, I think the issue was, dwelt on, but it has not been, included.
May
in
I
our
quickly interrupt you once again to take Marvelous from Ikorodu? Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, good morning.
How are you today, sir?
I'm very fine, thank you.
Okay.
Please, I want to quickly talk about the PDP listing. Even if PDP has 96 factions, I still see them winning Edo State. Even Oshomole's second term was sponsored by PDP. If you know the story of Aneni, where Aneni does say he no go enter again. It was Jonathan that used militarization and he was the anointed kind. According to Jonathan, he said it was him and he believed that we will do and he used militarization. The next day, Oshomola at 6 a.m., Oshomola went to see Jonathan and thank him for this. So this one, I see PDP winning it hands down because not the way PCC they campaign for us. I see APC that nothing that they have done, the economy and this. So, and once again, I want to thank you, Syria Baku. You are doing a good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marvelous. Do you agree with him?
Well, I've said it before that it is difficult to say emphatically, but I told you that I'm seeing PDP gaining ground.
Okay.
All right, but I cannot tell now that PDP will win the election.
But what Jumoke raised about independent candidacy, for goodness sake,
There
there are other, wait, even if we don't, we're not ready for that now.
Yes.
There are other candidates. Why do you think that, I mean, even if they strategize and they, try to gain sway votes and all that, you were mentioning that strategies don't work in this kind of climb.
Now,
why is that?
Yeah, well, let's look at it this way. Within the APC, there are persons who are 1,000,000 times better than Buhari. Within the APC, there are people who are better than Ambode. Look at all the states. Are you saying that these are the best hands? You see, but the party system is such that it does not necessarily throw up the best. It throws up the one that the power brokers are interested in. It is a system. It goes through funding, it goes through all manner of processes, and it takes those who call the shots to determine how the candidate emerges. So you can't just sweep that process away and say because somebody is so brilliant, he's so this, he has this, he has. It doesn't work that way.
Okay.
Because they might even see you as somebody who is not loyal.
True. Let's take our last call for today. Ali has called in from Dokwemu. Good morning and thanks for joining the conversation.
Good morning. I am very, very appreciative for what you guys are doing there. My whole point of issue is about the election there. The issue is that if the people that ruling us before, they cannot continue to do good things, can't choose another party and follow it. Is it compulsory we should do PDP and APC? They want to kill us for this Nigeria now.
That's what we are saying.
But thank you very
much, Ali.
In the case of Edo State,
yes,
somebody like the highly celebrated poet and writer, Odiofemo, came out. If if it was what you were referring to, all that would have gone as an independent
candidate.
But he had to go and join Labour Party.
Yes.
And has been saying that Nigerians who have the good heart to donate 1,000 to 2,000 should kindly do so to his campaign. Personally, I'd like to see Ojo Ofemo become governor of Edo because he has the ideas, because he's knowledgeable, and because he's an intellectual.
Yeah, but let's go beyond. Let's go beyond being an intellectual and being this and that. Because even within the ivory towers, are there better intellectuals than the ivory towers? That is where you have, you have them in their thousands.
Yes.
Within the ivory tower, are there no problems?
There are.
So it's not about, it's a question of somebody being passionate about people. It's not about degrees. Now, you might have all the degrees. I
am very passionate for
yes.
Why can't I run for my
If you are
state?
not passionate about the human being, the tendency for you to take what belongs to him will be very high.
But sir, you are talking about passion.
Now, yes.
You're talking about passion.
Like Plato mentioned, you see, character and competence are equally very critical to governance. If you don't have character, if you don't have the competence, and if you don't have that compassion on people,
but
there's a tendency that what belongs to the people, you put it in your pocket.
In Nigerian politics, it's about the money.
That is what I was saying.
And people tend to follow the money. They don't vote if you don't give them rice, bread, and all that.
I'd like us to take tweets, just in case we have any questions for Dr. Dan before we run off.
PDP crisis is a seasonal film. Gear yourself for the next session. That'll be next season. KVM model says PDP won't escape crisis until they flush the bad heads. Their secrets keep coming out. 16 years is not a joke now. PDP is not, that's from Ogege. PDP is not is not learning from its mistakes. Their candidates in Edo and Ondo might be distracted from the elections. Oluwapelumi says, we've not seen Mariah for a week now. Hope all is well.
She's well.
She's
Dr. Dan, solution going forward.
So far we've talked about the ills of PDP, but we must not forget that PDP is not all about evil.
Yes.
We have their good part. Don't forget that they've been able to, even the mere fact that they've been able to sustain
democracy,
this particular civil regime
for 16 years
is a whole lot.
Now, but most of them are the former military men who removed their khaki now. The ones who were supposed to topple the government were already civilians.
Yeah, but in spite of that, at least within the civil, setting, they've been able to. Yeah. Now, coming to the issue of PDP elections or what have you, I want to think that the time has come for people and the PDP itself to re-examine itself. Because they have been in government from the beginning of this, dispensation.
Yes.
They have not learned anything about, they've not taken any hard lesson.
Okay.
So I think that this particular exercise of being in a position that they are not prepared for will make them begin to sit up. And the time they wake up from it, they might be a refined party.
Fantastic.
Edo people, please look for other parties.
Well, that was my own reason for saying that we don't need to discuss any political party.
You voted for Kowa, and how many votes did that?
Kowa in my estate only had 1 vote. I'm proud that it was only me. Just saying that I have a choice. When the political parties realize that,
unfortunately, it's a wasted choice. That's the way.
No, it's not wasted. When the political parties realize that there are people who are ready to vote for individuals and not your party, then they will start to take the right individuals
that's the more reason
their
why
parties.
we really need this independent candidature. It's very critical.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Dan Ikere, for coming on the show once again. Very intellectual discussion we just had with you this morning.
It's always a pleasure.
Panelists, thank you for joining the conversation, and thank you for being the 5th panelist. We'll be back tomorrow morning, same time, same station. Have a great day ahead. Bye.